something hit the Twitter today that kind of struck me the wrong way, but I understand it. Jim Rooney was on the Ross Tucker podcast, and if anybody wants to look at it, I mean, it's all over the Twitters on about a 2-minute clip or so, and I'm sure there might be more context to this, but Ross Tucker basically asked him, well, how do you feel about all the Steeler fans pronouncing all their disdain for the lack of playoff success, the complaining and all that stuff. And I'm saying complaining just as a term, not degrading people who are complaining, because I get it. And when I started off great, where he said, you know what, this is not just on Mike T, which is what we've said all the time. This is more of an organizational issue. Taking a little bit of ownership, I'm like, okay, this is.
So I'm listening.
I'm listening, because that's correct. This is more than just a one-man thing. Then he started to say something which I agree with, but I don't know if I like that he said it, which is they have pretty much almost like, what do you complain about? We've outperformed the NFL as a mean better than most teams for the last 25 years. We've lost playoff games to Manning, Brady, and Mahomes. Okay? All true. Yes, we get it. Those are generational quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hear anything again, it's an owner. He doesn't play. I did not hear anything of like, this is what we're going to do. It almost felt like he was to what some of the Yinzers have been saying. And I didn't want to hear from these from these people, but it almost sounds like complacency. Am I taking this the wrong way?
Yes.
Okay, please.
Emphatically, okay. Yes, because everything he said is everything we said, but just in different, just in kind of different context. Yeah. It's pretty much the same message, Yeah, come on, let's be honest. You think that owner really is happy-go-lucky that they went out for a 7th year in a row without a win? Absolutely not. Let's think logically for a second. But at the same time, owners aren't going to act like fans and bitch and complain.
Yep.
They're owners. They're going to look at the positives. Not to mention they're profitable and they're owners. Okay?
Yeah.
Let's not forget, this is business too.
Mm-hmm.
And they're putting on an above average product. Yes, true or false?
True.
Above average product.
True.
Right? It's profitable. Last I checked, ain't nobody. It's sold out every week.
Mm-hmm.
So, now here's the thing. I'm not saying that I agree with the message, but that is just where they are right now.
Yeah.
And if that's complacency, I mean, compared to what? I guess. What are we comparing it to? Because, and I also think that the owners are not stupid in knowing that they have to have better tools in the tool chest in order to even get out of the above, like the average to above average category. They don't have an above average roster, but we don't want to talk about that part. Okay. So I think what he's saying is given all these factors, because it was only a 2-minute clip, but given these factors, like we ain't doing all that bad. I mean, it's not, because if you really think about the way that that you see it on social media, like you would think that we are, you would think that we're like like worse than the Jets right now.
Yeah.
And the reality is, we still been to more Super Bowls than the Buffalo Bills in the past 20 years. But that's another story for another day. But you understand what I'm saying? Like I completely understand where he was coming from. And personally, I love the transparency. Like I said, it was just in a way, it was just kind of in a way where I think that it might have been taken out of context from the Yinzers, because Yinzers going to try to find a way to, go in. They won't be mad anyways. They just mad at the world. They yelling at clouds right now. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, that's the way I look at it, at least.
Yeah. And I think even too, like the whole reason I ask if I'm sticking with the same way, and the reason I say complacency is we heard last year, a couple years, last year when Matt Canada was hanging around too long. We heard Charlie Batch say that the Rooneys don't like to pay coaches sitting on the couch. So that's why he hung around a little too long. Is that why Pat Meyer still has a job?
Mm-hmm.
He has 1 year left on his deal. Is that why someone like Terrell Austin still has a job, which I'm on the fence of bringing him back or not bringing him back? You and I, and the rest of the group, we've gone back and forth. You know, you hate to say this guy needs to go, this guy needs to lose his job, but we agree when you have your tackles running mesh routes
Yeah.
in a playoff game, dude, that's an offensive line communication
what are we-
issue.
Yeah. Come on.
You got to go. You have to
Come
go.
on.
And you putting guys in different positions. They're not succeeding.
Yes.
You got to go.
And then
So
thriving in other places.
and thriving in other places. So what I mean by the complacency was what he said was true, and I am thankful, which we talked about in the last episode. Mike T has coached 292 regular season games and only one game on a playoff contention.
Yeah.
Sign me up for that all day.
All day.
You got to win a playoff game. You got to get there. As long as you keep getting there, it's going to eventually going to happen, and you never know, right?
Yeah.
It's like not making these moves to go get somebody. And again, I'm not saying soon as the next day firing everybody and starting over, but I guess they're giving it a little bit too much thought. You know, history shows, other than last year, so making big splashes, they don't seem to go for it versus just keeping that status quo of the. I sound like a yinzer right now in a sense. Hey, let's be 10-7 and get in the playoffs. You never know. That's why I'm looking at. That's the way I took it. But again, it was a small clip.
Yeah.
Let's see. Are they really one handicapping Tomlin from getting high-end assistant coaches because of what they want to pay him? We don't know. That kind of thing to co-sign. That's what they were doing, right? Well, we got Mahomes, you got Brady. It's like, to me, it's like we got Mahomes. Well, we really can't do much because Mahomes is there. So we're just going to tread water and be profitable.
Yeah.
Right.
Let me ask you a question though. Is it complacency or is it philosophy?
It's a great question.
think they've always been doing this. I just think it gets exposed more when there is not when there's lack. Look, losing exposes everything. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I promise you that the Rooneys have been doing business the exact same way since the beginning of time. Because here's the thing, they're loyal to their word means so much to them.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is that if you sign a contract, they're still old school. Okay. You sign a contract, it's for 5 years. We're going to pay you for 5 years.
Yep.
But we expect you to earn the income in that contract in that 5-year time. We're going to give you 5 years of work, right? Mm-hmm. That's old school. Y'all, some of these cats don't understand that how, back in the day, I mean, it was just a handshake and your word actually meant something.
Yep.
And in this day and age in social media where in just the way that the landscape of sports is, there isn't that much loyalty. Mm-hmm. How about we celebrate the fact that the Rooneys and the Steeler organization is still loyal? How about that?
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying? So, yeah, because, look, guys, as much as I would love to win the Super Bowl every daggone year, it's not possible.
Not possible.
No,
not even
okay?
Close.
It's not possible, right? So you have to do the very best with what you have. And sometimes you're lucky, like the Commanders, and you hit the jackpot on somebody, and your team goes from below average or average to great in a matter of a year. Like, dude, that's it. A lot of it has to do with that. So if you think about it from that standpoint, and then you say, in spite of all of that, we're still above average in spite of all the stuff that you see, all these teams that go from bad to terrible, 30 different quarterbacks in 15 years, all these other organizations, right? With the exception of what? The freaking Patriots, KC, right? I mean, but and maybe Baltimore, but dude,
But Baltimore's not stacking trophies like the Patriots and Chiefs are doing. So
right. And here's the thing. I don't think he was saying that like, well, it's good enough. I think he was just pointing out the fact that it's not all bad.
yeah,
Because if you look at it from social media, then like you think it's the end of the world, but it's
yeah,
not. You know, I would listen, guys. I would much rather be in this type of purgatory than be like the Raiders right now or be like the Cowboys right now. How about the 49ers who don't even who get close but they can't get over the hump? They haven't won a freaking Super Bowl since 1995.
mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
I take all of that into perspective from a like from an ownership standpoint. Like I know they're still comparing. Like there's great organizations, there's great franchises or blue blood franchises that haven't won a Super Bowl in 30 years.
mm-hmm.
You know, the Redskins, well, the Commanders, aka used to be the Redskins, were blue bloods back in the
Yeah.
day,
Since '91, they haven't won
and
anything.
they haven't won. Right? I had to go in on somebody that was talking about, well, why don't we tank like the Commanders? Do you understand that how that could have been Chicago with him right now, and how it may have looked a little bit different, you know? Or
Yeah,
I'm even say this, or that could have been Caleb Williams with the Commanders with a different coaching staff, different. Scary Terry is a whole different. He's an animal first of all, right? But
mm-hmm.
a whole different type of culture and everything. You just never know how that stuff is going to how it's going to play out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the whole and I got in it with a buddy of mine on the Facebook about that too. About and everybody. Well, first off, like I said, we've said this many times. Tanking is not in our vocabulary. People that played
No,
the game is not in our vocabulary.
no,
But and I've said this many times on many different episodes, and I know you know this as well too. Since 2009, there have been 39 to 40, roughly 40 quarterbacks that have been taken in the first round. 27 of those were top 10 picks. 5 made a Super Bowl. 2 won it. The 2 that won it were Mahomes and Stafford. So picking these high quarterbacks means absolutely nothing. Other Cam Newton went to a Super Bowl, Burrow went to a Super Bowl, Goff went to a Super Boll. So these are other quarterbacks that have
you
panned
could
out and
you could
got
have
to
ended up with Josh
championship.
Rosen.
Josh freaking Rose, exactly right.
You
Sam
know?
Darnold. I mean, all these guys, like all these
Yeah,
high picks, and I'm not counting like the last couple of years because they're still too young. But like all of these guys that have been picked in the first round, odds are they're not going to pan out because, like you said, you
exactly.
have to hit the right coach, the right organization, the right system, the right quarterback. And tell you something, there was a thing with Jaden Daniels. If he gets to Super Bowl, might be the best rookie season ever. I
Bro.
mean, you have Ben there, Cam, Russ is a rookie. All those, they're all
Yeah,
arguable. And with Jaden Daniels right now is in that conversation. If he
absolutely.
gets to a Super Bowl, he's probably going to be the best rookie season ever. You have to give it to him.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
yeah,
Because I'm not
yeah.
mistaken. I don't think a rookie quarterback's ever made it to the Super Bowl. So,
No, I don't think there is either.
but to put a bow on this, again, I don't want to sound like I'm contradicting myself too, because again, I agree. There is not this is a glass half full organization, right? They do things the
Absolutely.
right way. Yeah, I wish there was a couple things they didn't do. Maybe they change a little bit, but for the most part, they've given me at least 30 years of fandom that I've enjoyed outside of what 3 losing seasons with Cower. That's it.
Yeah,
And even then, 6-10 was the worst year, right?
yeah.
They're in contention every year. I'm just very thankful that I can watch a team that I'm not, and I hate when people say that they're embarrassed by a team because they're embarrassed by people they've never met. But I can sit there and
Crazy.
say, you know what? Every week, more times than not, we have a chance. And that's what I live for. I will take the this is the point. We finished 9-8, 10-7, and we don't win any playoff games, and we get these crappy draft picks. So what's winning one playoff game going to give you?
Nothing.
Crappier draft pick.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I mean,
Exactly.
it's
That's and I think that's my point, dude. That like, like no. This is the issue. Let me tell you what the issue is. It's the Madden era, where everybody goes on and be a GM on a computer game, and they think they know everything, and they think that it's just going to work out just like that. It's just going to pan out just like that.
yep,
If you were that good, you'd have a job,
yeah.
and you wouldn't be talking about it on the Twitters. Okay, so I think that has a lot to do with it. Like people think that you can just snap your fingers, instant gratification, and it's poof, it's done.